2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Prepare the way. All these people make straight a path. So Yeshua's coming back, so we lift up as the mighty voice. Hosanna, hallelujah, Hosanna, hallelujah. Prepare the way. All these people make straight a path. For Yeshua's coming back, so we lift up as the mighty voice. Hosanna, hallelujah, Hosanna, hallelujah. For he's coming in the clouds with his glory renowned. Make a path for him. He'll be shining like the sun with the sword on his tongue. He's calling us in, so be ready. For Yeshua's coming again. Prepare the way. All these people make straight a path. For Yeshua's coming back, so we lift up as a mighty voice. Hosanna, hallelujah, Hosanna, hallelujah. For he's coming in the clouds with his glory renowned. Make a path for him. He'll be shining like the sun with the sword on his tongue. He is calling us in, so be ready. For Yeshua is coming again. The Son of Man who died for our sins was raised to life, and he's coming again. So prepare the way, O people of Yah, let us not delay. The shepherd is called the Son of Man who died for our sins was raised to life, and he's coming again. So prepare the way, O people of Yah, let us not delay. The shepherd is called the Son of Man who died for our sins was raised to life, and he's coming again. So prepare the way, O people of Yah, let us not delay. The shepherd is called the Son of Man who died for our sins was raised to life, and he's coming again. So prepare the way, O people of Yah, let us not delay. The shepherd is called. For he's coming in the clouds with his glory renowned. Make a path for him, and he'll be shining like the sun with the sword on his tongue. He is calling us in. For he's coming in the clouds with his glory renowned. Make a path for him. He'll be shining like the sun with the sword on his tongue. He is calling us in, so be ready. For Yeshua is coming again. He's coming in again.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Jason. Shabbat Shalom to you all.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Yah.
And Miss Nicole is down with the old household cold, and she is with us, as you can see in chat, but she is not with us vocally. Much love to everybody out there. Boy, oh boy, it is a day of rejoicing. It is a day of glorifying our Creator. It is a day of doing His will as we all congregate and as we all have a wonderful Shabbat. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful Shabbat. Thank you guys very, very much. Mr. Cade, will you please open us up in prayer?
Father, thank you for this day. We thank you for bringing us back together once again as a family united, seeking your Torah, seeking your righteousness, seeking your path that you have written out for us, that you have shown us, that you have told us to keep these commands. We will be your people and you will be our Elohim. And we ask that you count this as righteousness as we attempt to follow your laws and your commandments in this day and age. We attempt to do everything we can to be your people, to walk in that path of righteousness, that you see it, that you bless us, that you remember us on the day of judgment. And we ask that your blessings are upon us today, and the Ruach is on our eyes to understand your word. In Yeshua's name, amen.
All right. That is amazing, guys. Thank you very, very much for joining this little virtual table, for hanging out with us. We have been plagued with the household cold that last week ravaged through it. Actually, it was like a couple of weeks ago. It took Caden, then it took Eli, then it took me. And Miss Nicole didn't fall. And the only one that has not fallen is the guy that gets a lot of exercise, a lot of sunshine, has a great exercise routine, and is very in shape. And so if that says anything to the actual human body, it is that if we take care of it, I think it will absolutely take care of us. And so thank you guys very, very much for hanging out. Here we are. Jade, will you please start us up?
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and all your might. And these words I am commanding you today shall be in your heart. And you shall impress them upon your children. You shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be fronts between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Absolutely a beautiful verse, and it is one of these verses, that we talk about. We have it produced at the very beginning for a reason. Because if you are looking for a religion, if you are looking for a way forward, if you're looking for something, first of all, I would ditch all the religions and I would stick only to scriptures. And this is what our family and I believe, is that we believe the full book, from the first page to the very end of the book, and as well as all the Apocrypha. Because when you read it, and you read it over and over and over, you find that there is a common theme. And the common theme is not something that we've been taught. Because with 40,000 plus different Christian religions, 500,000 other different religions out there, they all fall under that R word. And it's called a religion. And we don't follow a religion. We follow the way of our Creator. And it's not a religion. It is a walk. It is a daily walk. And it is a walk that gives us hope. It gives us a way forward that is not the same way that this disgusting world is. And we are one of these families that we don't do a lot on social media, but I started a channel the other day called Behind the Bars, and I had to go and put a TikTok. Somebody had mentioned that we'd get a lot more views or something if we do TikTok, so I've never seen TikTok. I've seen it, I've seen the people with it, and I've seen the dancing people in TikTok, but I've never sat and literally watched it. And so I had it on my phone, and I've never even opened it up, and I had to upload one of my videos to it. And the other day I was sitting in a parking lot and just sitting there waiting for my family, and all of a sudden this thing popped up, and I went into TikTok, and I couldn't stand more than about 5 videos. So I went into the very first one, and it was a woman sitting there touching herself, dancing provocatively. I'm like, oh, well, but I got rid of that. I went to the next thing, and it was a very unkodesh thing, a very unholy thing. And then I get to the next one, and about the third or fourth one, I'm like, you know what? This is about softcore porn. This is about something that I guess has been stuck to the youth, that has been stuck to this generation. And I shut her down, and I'm done. I'm like, you know what? This is absolutely, completely a worthless world that we are living in right now, because when you look at what you can do on TikTok, this wasn't available when I was a kid. When they went to the portable device, I guess society was destroyed when we got TVs. And after we got TVs, then it all started getting smaller and smaller until it's in the palms of our hands. And now we have everybody. We have the youth of this world that lives on this filthy, disgusting platform called TikTok. Now, I can't just throw TikTok under the bus because I've been sitting here on YouTube and I've been getting ads for cartoon pornography, for these horrible, horrible things. And I try to block it and it wants me to sign in, and it's just like it's really hard to stop the evil that is coming in. And as we look at the depravity that we have in society, when we have a look at the nudity and the transgenderism, the sickness that has bestowed upon all of us, I don't think it's a long time until Messiah comes back. I don't think it's going to be a long time. I don't know how much more deprived that we have to be as a people in a civilization. I don't know how dark it has to get before Messiah comes, but we know he's on his way. We know that he's going to be pulling us out of this cesspool. And if you're like me, and this stuff it turns your stomach. It turns my stomach to see that the kids are literally basically marketed these social media platforms where it's all about sickness. It's all about sickness. And guys, I am sick of it. I am ready for the kingdom to come. I'm ready, which makes the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator that we're just about to go over absolutely amazing. So as we read through these laws, statutes, and commandments, let's think about the world that we are in right now, and let's talk about how bad it is, because right now what we're about to read is where 400,000 plus religions and 40,000 Christian religions, all these huge amounts of religions, they've rejected what we're about to read. They find no value in what we read. You will have people that tell you that you're going to go to hell because you want to be astute. You want to be a child of the Most High. And people laugh at you. But when we read these laws, statutes, and commandments, and when we apply them to our lives, everything changes. Everything changes. Our viewpoints change, our outcome changes, our family changes, everything changes, because we are no longer dialed in with the world. We are no longer a child of the devil, because we have aligned our lives into a way that is a proper way forward. And so, Jade, why don't you say hello to all of our people in the chat? See if you can pull this one off. What? You don't have chat?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just pull up my chat. Listen, I'm going to try this, guys. All right. A shout out to everybody. Mr. Cole usually does this. Let's see if my old eyes can actually see this. Cindy LJ, much love. Shout out to Jerry and Dolly. Shouts to Sarah Baker and her family. Hope you're doing well. Husband's there. Hope he's doing well too. Hope he's listening in. Much love. America, much love to you. I think it's a sis. Maybe it's a dude. Either way, much love to you. Charles, much love. Razul, much love. Shout out as well. Rebecca Rez, shouts to ya. Joanna, Honeymoon Stitch, Brian, much love. Walking his ways, much love to you. Sister Barb, always amazing to have you and your crew there. Hopefully your crew is there. Candy, Ruby, if you're out there, much love to you guys. Sylvia, shouts to you. Andy and Elizabeth, so many family here. This is just incredible. Jeremy and Callan, much love. Hopefully Callan is there. Much love to you guys. Much love to you, dear sis, as well. Kyle, shalom, shalom. I think Mama CA is there. I have a guy, Weez HR, much love. It's Heidi from Arizona. Much love to you, Heidi from Arizona. And I see Mama CA there. I see Spider-Man. I see that's Worldwide Widow. Much love to you, brother man. Wow, there's a lot of people I know. This is like real family, like right here. This is amazing. The Grand's in here. Much love, Graham. Rick Johnson, what is up, brother man? How you doing? I think I made it. Okay, if I missed you guys, please accept my apologies. And for those who watch in the future, much love to you. It's a shout out. This is a big family. How do we know who our family is? Well, our family are the people who love the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. And that is not a tremendous amount of people, but we are blessed. We are baruched to have all of you guys sitting around this table so that we can celebrate our Creator and His day. So as we go through it, let's begin with these beautiful laws, statutes, and commandments, the greatest things we have ever been given. I will call these the unbondage laws because everybody else calls them bondage. I will say they are absolutely not nailed to the cross, and they are nailed to my heart. They are nailed to my mind. Hopefully they are nailed to the frontlets between my eyes so that I'm able to see this world through the lenses of the Torah. And the Torah simply means the way forward, guys. It means literally the way forward. It's not laws, it's not regulations, it's not rules, although they are, because they are part of our instruction guides for life. And it's up to us to either write them on our hearts or to discount them. And when we discount them, we become a child of the devil. So here we are. Be fruitful.
Multiply, replenish the earth,
Subdue it, having over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
they are bearing every trees for food. Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you. Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
And that's absolutely reiterated many, many times, guys. That's like one of the biggest commands that we have out there.
Every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations. Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, festival of matzah.
There's one Torah for the stranger and one for the Hebrew. Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images. Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat.
Honor your parents. Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Slow down, fellers.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbors.
Do not make an altar from rock that a tool has touched. Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals. Do not lie with beast. No sacrifices to other Elohim.
Do not oppress the stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest. If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast. No false report.
Do not follow multitude of evil.
Do not judge righteously against the poor. Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers. Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger, love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Hold on. I'm multitasking here. No, I got to check it out. What you were saying about TikTok, brother, didn't you? I never installed that. I never want to. Yeah, you shouldn't install. John is talking about that TikTok on that. You should never. TikTok is I mean, this is if you took this thing back to like in the 80s and you showed people, this would absolutely be softcore porn. Absolutely trash. It's absolutely infiltrating the eyes, hearts, minds of our children. It is a mess. And yeah, the grand. This is a weird bug. This is one of these weird things, and you know, they're always up there with these little airplane things, spraying stuff all over us all the time as well. Which I wonder if you know, it always has to do with part of our sickness as well. Yeah, and Joanna says it's a shame that her kids are on TikTok. Yeah, it's. I was so shocked. I was so shocked when I saw TikTok. I was so blown away, and I come from the streets. I'm a ghetto guy. I'm a thug, and that still appalls me, and I just cannot believe what's out there. And then I don't think that's the only thing. I don't think we can just beat on TikTok because I mean it's all over the place. It's essentially social media is probably a soul destructor. If you just let your kids on these things and let them go, it's probably over. And I don't know if you'll ever get them back. These things are things that people should never see. The stuff I saw, even in the 4 videos, I can't get rid of. I still see the horrible spandex and the horrible stuff that I should have never seen. And it ruined my mind simply by looking at 3 or 4 videos. And you got these kids, they'll sit there on TikTok all day long. And it's I don't even know what the point of TikTok is. It looks like an idolatry. It looks like graven images. It looks like you make yourself into a graven image and you want everybody to sit there and celebrate your nastiness. Is all I can see with TikTok. Okay, so Jerry Indali says, what app are you reading from? That is the Yah Scriptures. If you guys go to yahscriptures.com, Miss Nicole will pop it in there. This is only for the Google platform, the iOS platform. They wanted a gazillion dollars to ever do it for Apple stuff. So if you have like a Google app, you can just download this. It has all of the books and everything. It's a free copy on that.
Android device.
What did I say?
Google device.
Google. It's the
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
For those who don't understand.
And then I think it's Heidi. My son took it off his phone because of the porn. I did not bring my kids up in Torah as we went to the Christian church. It made me thankful that I can barely say it, he heard the talks we had as he grew up. Yeah, and that's not it. It's not it's the I did 3 of the 5 videos that I saw when I had the TikTok experience were something that would leave your kids wondering about things they shouldn't know about until after marriage. That is the bottom line of what I saw, and it was so foul and so vile. And knowing that TikTok is meant and marketed for kids, this is straight out of the devil's handbook. This is straight out of the playbook for the devil. Once you get your kids into this, how do you get them to stop? And Heidi's kid seems like he was smart enough to figure this out, but I don't know if that's even possible. So, all right, so here we are. Let's continue on, fellas.
Are we going to give your land rest in the 7th year?
Yeah.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah. Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim. Serve Yahuwah.
Do not make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make or use anointing on a normal person. Do not make or use of perfume on a normal person. Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you are going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's. Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
All right, so let's talk real quick. This isn't something like too crazy, but I talked to a lot of brothers and sisters in chains, and I was telling you guys a story about Tom a while ago, and how Tom he's in solitary confinement. He'll never get out of prison, but he ended up with a pet mouse. And I remember an old satanic show from way back in the day. I think it was called The Green Mile, where this guy had a pet mouse. And so Tom was telling me today. I was responding to his letter today, and he said a mother pregnant. He woke up and a mother pregnant mouse was beating up his little baby mouse. So he grabbed the mother mouse. He's like, I didn't do anything to it, but I saved my little mouse and I got rid of it. So in the dark depravity land of prisons, these are the kind of things that most people on the outside have no idea what goes on. And so these are all things that always lead us into these conversations of cling food, not cling food. And the cling food thing is something that really, really, really gets most people, especially coming out of Christianity. They don't understand anything, because I'm down with the conclusion that anything in religion, I'm basing everything as a cult. Even though when I did a definition of a cult was something like a small group of people that believe something of a religious nature that wasn't real. Well, that's the same thing that we have here, because we have people eating shrimp, shellfish, all of these unclean critters, and they don't care. They don't even know. And so this is why these laws, statutes, and commandments are very important, so that we do understand what is cling, what is not cling, and how we should act. This is all about dialing us in for the kingdom to come and making sure that we are ready. This is our resume. Are we willing to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments and be obedient to every last aspect that we possibly can, or do we just not care? And majority of the world, I think, just doesn't care. Continuing on. Go on with that.
We are going to keep the day around obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Yeah, Joe, let me jump into chat too, because since I have chat here, you guys are going to get doomed today. TikTok in church and world teach us to be a fool and match Lucifer Strongs. Yeah, opposite of Messiah. Yeah, TikTok is, it is definitely a church thing, right? Everybody loves TikTok. Nobody teaches against this. Nobody says this is the most corrupt, evil thing that you've ever heard. Facebook as well. Joanna talks about Facebook. I agree that any type of social media that is out there is not good if you're, and for any purpose. The only thing that, we can't even get a Facebook account. That's the thing about me. Zuckerbucks won't give me a Facebook account because he knows I teaches against his satanic ways and all his stuff. But setting your kids up and allowing them to have full access to this, you have no idea what is happening to them. It's like people that ask me, should I put my kids into a public school? And I go, no, you would never want to send your kids to a government indoctrination camp for the best 12 years of their lives as they come out robotic slaves, right? And so that's a lot of truth for a lot of people, because who goes against the public schools? But when you're looking at what do I do with my kid? You should bring them close. You should teach them. You should never let other people teach your kids these foundational groups. And I've homeschooled all of my kids. And if any of you are worried or scared that you're not qualified for it, neither was I. I was not qualified for it. You never qualified for it. You learn as you go. You have a curriculum. You can get a curriculum. You can make these kids math geniuses. You can make them reading stars. And that is the thing, is we don't have to send them to the government indoctrination camp to make this happen. Continuing on. Okay, shout out to our Kodak moments as well out there. All right, and let's continue on. I'm reading chat. Sorry, guys. Hit it.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws. Keep a day of atonement. Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not lie with a woman her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch. Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard. Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers the day's wage they are due. Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother. Do not rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle. Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman. Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard to the corners of your head.
All right, hold on. So John McFarland Jr. says, yeah, that is tough. His question is, but how do you work and homeschool? That's the thing. I guess in a relationship where a man and a woman is together and you have one spouse that is at the house, which is, you know, when you look at the world that we are in, they've taken all of our women who are the cornerstones of our house. They're the glue that holds the entire family together, and they beef them up and they go stick them out in the workforce, and they're working 8 to 5, and all of a sudden all our kids are latchkey kids, right? The dad's going to work, the mom's going to work, they come home late, everybody's on drugs, nobody knows what the kids are doing, anything like that. Sometimes we are stuck in places that we can't do things, but if you are able and you do have a wife or you do have somebody who is not working, then bring them back, because you're literally messing your kids up going into a public school. They will never come out the same. They will never come out what you want, and they're going to rise up. They're going to become very, very rebellious. The school system is not good. So I may not have an answer for that. Yeah, there's Sister Barb has an answer for it right there. Yeah, do evenings. They are saying here, teach in the evenings, work opposite shifts. So definitely things of that nature, right? That's why our Creator has created man and woman. That's why we have helpmates. That's why the perfect way to destroy the entire family is to get the woman out there working and having to make it. And a lot of times we can't do it. A lot of times we are single parents. Times that does happen. But if you are and you do have the blessings that you're still in that, you can make your way, right? You can absolutely do it. And there's no better investment in your children than when they are young. I promise you that. If you invest your time now, 8 or 9 years from now, you will very much be very, very happy with that. Yeah, kids come first in Yahuwah's world of teaching. Absolutely. And you know, when you read scriptures, right, there's not a single place we ever have taken our kids to some indoctrination camp, right? There's certain things here and there. I think where to Abraham, somebody took Abraham to like a school, one of the
Noah's school.
It was Noah's school, right? Yeah. Somebody took somebody to Noah's school. Now, if we're talking about going to Noah's school, that's a little bit different. But if we're talking about going to these things where they indoctrinate your kids with robes in the classroom, that's ridiculous. So let's continue on, guys, before I get too out in the weeds. All right, hit it up.
Do not cut yourself for the dead. Wait, no, did I scroll way too far down?
No. That's
No,
all right.
right?
Yeah.
Where are we?
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures. Do not walk in the nations.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, Omer Count, Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Torah.
All right, I got to stop again. So, John, the reason you would not want to teach them the difference between that, I mean, if you're saying that you should send them to school and then try to educate them a little bit further. This is the very first couple of years that I had my kids in a Christian school. My kids came home and they learned all about sodomy. They learned all about violent kids. They learned all about taking on your elders. They learned all about how it is to be a bad kid. There was one kid that kept getting his name written on the board like 50 times. It was a big joke. You learn how not to respect your elders. You learn how to be a slave. You are absolutely an indoctrinated slave when you go to school. So it's better to teach your kids Torah, and then as things encounter in the world or some anomaly comes by, you go, look, this says right here, don't be a sodomite, don't be unholy. These have correct weights and measurements, right? These are the things, but you wouldn't want to go the other way. You wouldn't want to put them out there and let them get all of this garbage and trash, because as a parent, they're going to come back, they're going to get you. I'm telling you, as they rise up, as they enter into the teenage years, and it may not be for all, not all, but some, it becomes very, very problematic. And so you would want to raise your kids up in the manners of Yah and not the manners of the nations. Continue on.
All right.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury. Honor the Yobel, Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
The Torah of being a Nazir.
Where is he on the 400 garments? The law of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
The law of keeping your oaths to Yahuwah. Do not add or take away from the word.
Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah. You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the laws upon your hand and the frontlets between your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts. Do not tempt Yahuwah. Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah. Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name. Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice on Yahuwah is blessed you with. Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not harden the words of false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger a clean food that dies itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year. The law is the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart nor shut your hand from the poor. Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judgment officers in all your gates. Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen. Prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers. The first child is to get double portions.
If your brother's cattle or toes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
All right, so let's take this back. So, John, so on this thing, I guess let's look at it real quick. He says, will they not be protected by Yah if we teach them how to pray? Teaching them how to pray isn't teaching them Torah commands. We can learn how to pray from scriptures in of itself. The Torah commands are what we are supposed to write on our hearts, minds, and souls. In fact, Deuteronomy 6 says we're supposed to impress them on our children. Now, thinking of impressing, it doesn't say teach them to your children, it says impress them on your children. That is something totally different than just mentioning it, right? And so there's always the difference if your kids grow up in Torah and they're foundationally in Torah. And if they are, they're going to come home every single day and tell you the perils of an evil world at school. I would never, ever, ever send any kid to a public school ever. Ever. There's no reason to ever do that to your kids. So, introduction to the Pledge of Allegiance, all worldly things. And right out of the gate, you are breaking Torah commands by having your kid put his hand over his heart and pledge his allegiance to the flag. What flag? What are we talking about? We should be pledging our allegiance to the kingdom, to Yahuwah, to his Torah, to his ways. So right out of the gate. And then also he goes, I mean, they could learn the bad from the kids at the park, so don't take them apart. I don't know about you, but I was a dad. I was in the park with the kids and the kids, right? There wasn't going to be any other kids that come over there. I jumped in the park. I play like a kid. For all of us, I don't know if it's just me. I seem like I didn't ever grow up. So when I took my kids to the park, I was having a heyday. We all jumped out of the car and we all went, yay! You know, we're all playing. I never, ever left my kids to play in the park with other kids. Maybe it's too protective. Maybe there's something weird. But they all grew up and they're fully articulated. They all have jobs. They all can fully function in society and no one knows the difference, from homeschools or not. And so that's just how I would do it. And I know a lot of this you guys can't do. I know a lot of this you're just figuring out. But if you seek our Creator and try to find the way and to protect your kids, that is the greatest thing that you could ever do in this life, is to protect your kids and protect your own soul. And if you protect your kids as you're trying to get them to protect their soul, then we get the next generation that are seeking our Creator, that are looking for the kingdom, that are looking for righteousness and the ways of instructions versus this horrible, horrible way. These little kids at school, they swear, they curse, they are all having sex with each other. I mean, it is a mess. It doesn't matter what grade you're in. You hear about little kids all the time getting pregnant and having this stuff happen. This is what happens when you just let them off at the door and let them guide their own way. We as parents should never, ever let that happen. And so I don't know how far I'm down in the chat. Let's continue on, guys, or we're never going to make it through today.
Okay. If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that it'll be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
Law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you, return his clothing for a sunset if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress the hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man should go to death for his own sin.
Do not go back to the forgotten sheep in the field, leave for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out the grain.
Do not. If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot.
Yeah, so let's, Heidi just said, is talking about that, to mention that too. And yeah, the LGBTQRSTNLF.
Alphabet gang.
Yeah, whatever it is. Whatever it is you identify as, whatever piece of the letter of the alphabet you identify as. Not only that, but let's take a look. About 10 years ago, they introduced the after-school Sainting program. And that went from, I think that was a long time ago. That was back when we were still in the States, and they had the after-school Sainting program. And literally, it's like, people are like, well, if you have, Deca Club or you have the book buying club, then we might as well have an introduction to Sainted. And so you have all of these things that are around you. And if you think that there are children of the Gentiles that are Kodesh, it doesn't happen, because all these children of the Gentiles have watched rated R movies. They all know what sex scenes are. They all know what the world is like. And this is what we're trying to protect our children from, is not ending up down the same road that we all ended up as raging Gentiles. All of us. We came out of a raging Gentile world, worshiping the wrong Elohim, watching these horrible movies, and I have done damage to my kids because I let them watch stuff. Even though I homeschooled, I still let them watch TV, and I still to this day will say that was one of the worst things I have ever done for my kids, that I can see a lasting result for their entire life. It's on me. Okay, so here we are. Thank you guys. Thank you for the conversation. I hope this makes sense. I hope, this is a journey. This is a path. And it's not something that a lot of us can instantly change, but it is stuff that we can obviously change, and we can. Sometimes it takes work. Sometimes it flips your life upside down. When I started homeschooling my kids, I came home. I became the home dude. I did what I wasn't supposed to do. I sent my wife out to the workforce and made her answer calls at the ISP that it was my ISP. So we did a little bit different because I was good with teaching. I was ready to rock and roll and make it happen. But anybody can homeschool, guys. It doesn't take anyone. Even if you can't even read well, that's okay. You will be okay to do this. All right, so here we are right now. My dog's just all split. We are in the book of Leviticus. And Caden, take me down the path of where we are at right now in the book of Leviticus.
As far as Leviticus, we've been getting a lot of commands, a lot of stuff for the Levites. Specifically, recently, we've been learning how to do sacrifices, certain feast sacrifices, offerings, what we're supposed to do, how the priest is supposed to take the offerings, how we're supposed to divvy up the land, and what the Yobel, how we're supposed to return things, how we're supposed to redeem things, and what that's all about.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So here we are, guys. In Leviticus, these are very, very important books that we're reading. So let us begin. I'm in chat too, so I'm kind of back and forth. Joanna says, I'm so upset now because I've been telling my kids about Krampus, and yet they are not listening. Well, guys, it's not just Krampus. It's Santa, right? Switch those letters around. It's Satan, S-A-T-A-N. S-A-N-T-A. It's the same thing. The joke is on us. So they have this big fat guy that's omnipotent, that breaks into houses stealing stuff from kids, stealing cookies. Basically just theft. This guy's out burglarizing houses, but we're rejoicing in it, and we hope this guy, the guy that knows right from wrong, he's always listening. They've taken the entity of our Creator and they've made it a demon, and now here we are celebrating a satanic holiday. And then, yeah, you have Krampus. You got the demon, the other side of the guy that puts the kids in the bags and beats them with a stick. And it's all a demon. The entire thing is demonology. The whole thing is satanic. We need to separate ourselves so far away. And I will tell you guys, we're out here, and the last couple of weeks, I've seen all these people in their satanic little hats. Everybody going, Feliz Navidad, Merry Christmas. And you're like, it just makes you sick. It just really, really makes you sick. And you're like, no Merry nothing. No Feliz Navidad. And what's even crazier is, I was talking to some Jewish folks, and I was saying, what do you say to people when they tell you Merry Christmas? And they're like, well, we got the same thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. You guys do have the same thing. You have Hanukkah. You have an 8-day holiday that's never been put anywhere. We have no Torah command saying we thing like this. And so we have more man-made traditions that are, in fact, it's a super Christmas. The Jews have it even better. With the super Christmas, they have 8 days instead of just one. So here we are. Let us start reading.
It's still alive.
Let's see if it's still alive. Did it live?
It's still,
Anyone still out there?
It just made it swap to Wi-Fi.
Okay, yeah, back. All right, guys, let's see if we're exactly there. Please try the grave. Okay. All right, everyone out there, give me out in the, there we are. That's Nicole, so that's not the one I was looking for. Are we still live? Okay, good now. Okay, sorry, guys. Let's try this. Okay, here we are, guys. Leviticus 27. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Yisrael and say to them, when a man separates a vow by your evaluation of lives unto Yahuwah, when your evaluation is of a male from 20 years old up to 60 years old, then your evaluation shall be 50 shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the Kodesh place. And if it is a female, then your evaluation shall be 30 shekels. And if from 5 years old up to 20 years old, then your evaluation for a male shall be 20 shekels, and for a female 10 shekels. And if from a month old up to 5 years old, then your evaluation for a male shall be 5 shekels of silver, and for a female your evaluation shall be 3 shekels of silver. Guys, I'm going to ask you all about this. You guys ready to answer this one? And if from 60 years old and above, if it is a male, then your evaluation shall be 15 shekels, and for a female 10 shekels. Okay, what are we talking about? What's happening right here?
We're basically taking like a tax from the people. Basically, this is like what they do. They lined up and they numbered all the people and they took money from them.
Yeah, well, yeah, and so it's an evaluation, and so it is essentially a tax. It is a way to redeem yourself back in the days. 8. But if he is too poor to pay your valuation, then he shall present himself before the Kohen and the priest, and the Kohen shall lay a value for him, according to the ability of him who vowed. The Kohen shall value him. And if it is a beast of which they bring an offering to Yahuwah, all such given to Yahuwah is Kodesh. He is not to replace it or exchange it, good for spoil or spoil for good. And if he at all exchanges beast for beast, then both it and the one exchanged for it is Kodesh. And if any unclean beast of which they do not bring an offering to Yahuwah, then he shall present the beast before the Kohen. And the Kohen shall value it, whether it is good or spoiled, according to your evaluation, O Kohen, so it shall be. But if he indeed redeems it, then he shall add 1/5 to your evaluation. And when a man kodosh his house to be kodesh to Yahuwah, then the Kohanim shall value it, whether it is good or spoiled, as the Kohanim values it, so it stands. And if he who kodesh it redeems it, his house, then he shall add 1/5 of the silver of your evaluation to it, and it shall be his. And if a man kodosh to Yahuwah a field he owns, then your evaluation shall be according to the seed for it, a comer of barley seed at 50 shekels of silver. If he kodosh his field from the year of Yovel, according to your evaluation, it stands. But if he kodosh his field after the Yovel, then the Kohen shall reckon to him the silver due according to the years that remain till the year of Yovel, and it shall be deducted from your evaluation. All right, so let us, I'm seeing, is Rick asking us questions, or is he? Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get caught up here. Normally I have my helpmate here, but she's voiceless. So, all right, let's continue on. So guys, what we're talking about is we're talking kind of a redemption, kind of a way to pay the Kohen and the way, basically a kind of a wage of a person to be redeemed in the eyes of Yah. So this is kind of a confusing chapter, definitely. 17, if he kodosh his field from the year of Yovel, according to your evaluation, it stands. But if he kodosh his field after the Yovel, then the Kohen shall reckon to him the silver due according to the years that remain, till the year of Yovel, and it shall be deducted from your evaluation. And if he who kodosh the field would redeem it, then he shall add 1/5 of the silver of your evaluation to it, and it shall be his. Basically, it's a way to get things back and the way to redeem the people. It's just a kind of a monetary system, I guess, is maybe a good word for it. Maybe someone in the chat has a better word for this. 20. And if he does not redeem the field, or if he has sold the field to another man, it is no longer redeemed. But the field, when it is released in the Yovel, is Kodesh to Yahuwah as a dedicated field to be the possession of the Kohanim. Okay, so again, this is talking about buying, kind of buying and selling the way that they had it and the way that they were able to get things back. 22. And if a man kadosh to Yahuwah a field which he has bought, which is not the field of his possession, then the Kohanim shall reckon to him the amount of your valuation up to the year of Yovel, and he shall give your evaluation on that day. Kodesh to Yahuwah. How to get your field back, right? This is, or how to get things to and fro. And 24. In the year of Yovel, the field returns to him whom he bought it, to him who's the possession of the land. And all your evaluations are to be according to the shekel of the Kodesh place, 20 gerahs to the shekel. However, a firstborn of the beast, which is the firstborn to Yahuwah, no man kadosh it, whether bull or sheep. It belongs to Yahuwah. And if among the unclean beasts, then he shall ransom it according to your evaluation, and shall add 1/5 to it. And if it is not redeemed, then it shall be sold according to your evaluation. However, whatever a man lays under ban for Yahuwah of all that he has, man and beast, or the field of his possession, is not sold or redeemed. Whatever is laid under ban is most Kodesh to Yahuwah. All right, jumping in real quick. If you flip backwards. Yeah, Constantine, Joanna says, Constantine through his enchantment of the whole world. Yeah, absolutely. People think Constantine was like a great guy that brought all of this together. Okay. Let us roll on. 29. No one under the ban among men is ransomed, but shall certainly be put to death. And all the tithe of the land, of the seed of the land, of the fruit of the tree belongs to Yahuwah. It is Kodesh to Yahuwah. If a man indeed redeems any of his tithes, he adds 1/5 to it. And the entire tithe of the herd of the flock, all that passes under the rod, the 10th one is Kodesh to Yahuwah. He does not inquire whether it is good or spoiled, nor does he exchange it. And if he exchanges it at all, then both it and the one exchanged for it are Kodesh. It is not redeemed. These are the commands which Yahuwah commanded Moshe for the children of Yisrael on Mount Sinai. Okay, so here we are again. We have these. This is one of these. These are more confusing because we are not down in these days. We were not under the system, and we don't know exactly how that system worked other than what we were reading. But what this was dealing with is, in the days, the priests were the basic accountants, or the ones that would tell you. They were, I guess they're not the auctioneers, but they are the guys that they took a value. Let's say, for instance, you took your land and you sold it off and you want to redeem it. You're going to go to the Kohen and you're going to go to the priest, and he's going to look at it and he's going to make sure the valuation of what it is correct. And so all of that is against everything that was there. You would always have the priest that would do all of this. Okay, so I don't know if that helps. I don't know if that is one of these way hard chapters to figure out, but it is definitely a little more complex. So let us get into our next chapter that we're reading right here. Jade, we're in Matthew 27. Can you please give me a breakdown of what's happened prior to this time?
So Messiah had gone around teaching and preaching. He's been healing people, doing miracles, and he taught in the congregations and around all the people in all the land of Israel. And it came to the time of the Passover. His friend Yehuda Iscariot, or Judas Iscariot, most people know him, the betrayer, he went and sold Yehoshua for 30 pieces of silver. He said he will betray him and he will give him up for 30 pieces of silver. So he did. Yehoshua had the Passover. He told him that he was going to betray him, and Yehuda ran out and then went to find his people. Yehoshua went up on the mountain with 3 of his disciples, Peter, John, and James.
Where we?
Well, they're on the mountain where they're praying. There's 3 of them. Yeah, there's James.
2 is the sons of thunder.
Yeah. and they couldn't stay awake. Yehoshua says, "Why can't you stay awake for a little bit? My time is coming near." He prayed that he didn't have to do this. He didn't want to do this, but he still has to. The people came against him. They came and captured him. Judas gave Yehoshua away, and then they all betrayed Yehoshua in the end. Peter denied him that he knew him. Judas gave him up, and all the disciples fled.
Yeah. So Walking His Way says, what book within the Apocrypha do you recommend? You're asking somebody who's very biased. I'm the guy that helped put the scriptures together. It's the same thing that people ask me, which book of the Bible is the best? And I don't see a single book as the best. I see everything as a huge conglomerate, like page 1 to the end of 3,153 pages if you're reading Yah Scriptures. Everything has complete value. Everything has complete value. So what I would tell people that have never read Scriptures before is to start at the very beginning. Those who have never read the Apocrypha, start at the very beginning. Everything in Yah Scriptures, the Apocrypha, is in order that we can figure it out, right? It's not like if you were doing Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, it'd be somewhere in there like Jubilees or Jasher would probably be in some of these. But if you're looking for an order, the books of Adam and Eve are amazing. Both of those are good. The book of Yehudith is good. Tobit is amazing. You hear more stuff out of the Apocrypha than anywhere else. The Testament of the 12.
That's him.
Huh?
That's him.
Well, that's what she asked. She's like, that's which is the book of Khalidi. I read other than book of Khalidi. So I would say every single book in the book of the in the Scriptures right here is good. Like
Esdras is really good.
Oh yes, Esdras is very, very good. Like this right here, the second one right before Maccabees. You hear more in Esdras in the first and second Ezra than you do in any other book about the moments after death. Like when you're dead and you go to the day of accounting, what happens, where it's all at, that's simply amazing. Bel and the Dragon, the additions to Daniel, that was simply amazing. They're all cool. I don't really actually have one. So I would start at Adam and Eve and read it, and then I'd read it all again because it's super, super cool. So yeah, but I'm biased. So let's continue on. Type and Google. Can someone please do it? All right. All right, guys. Have we solved everything in the chat? Are we good? If there's, we're definitely here for a community. We're definitely here in love. We're definitely here doing, the will of our Creator, worshiping on Shabbat. And so, guys, we can always take this stuff offline. We can always do it. If there's any kind of questions, you guys can definitely hit me up. Let's give all praise, all respect, all love to our Creator. All of our attention to him. So here we are, Matthew 27. And morning, having come, all the chief Kohanim and elders of the people took counsel against Yahushua, so as to put him to death. And having bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Then Yehuda, he who delivered him up, having seen that he had been condemned, repented, returned the 30 pieces of silver to the chief Kohanim and to the elders, saying, I have sinned in delivering up innocent blood. And they said, what is that to us? You see to it. So here we are, another account of Judas Iscariot, the betrayer, the great betrayer. I guess somebody had to do it, and this was the one that was born to do the job. But it's a funny thing, right? The 30 pieces of silver. We know in other accounts they would not take this back. I think he might have chucked it at him or something of the sort, but it's his money. It's blood money at this point. And they couldn't take the money and they couldn't put it back in the treasury because they said themselves it was blood money. So these demons, or these men that are obviously controlled by demons or controlled by unclean spirits, have now taken our Messiah and they've thrown him, into the pits here. 5. And throwing down the pieces of silver in the Mishkan, he left and went and hanged himself. And the chief Kohanim took the silver pieces and said, it is not right to put them in the treasury, seeing they are the price of blood. So I'm a spoiler alert on this. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? What do you guys think this would look like? What do you think? How did this go down for Judas? Do you think he just because we know the field? There's a field that's out there. Do you remember, what's the field's name? You want to remember the field's name?
It's about to say in there.
Oh, it's about to say. Okay, so what do you think this was looking like? You think he just took a rope out there? Was he by himself? Was it quick? I don't
know. I imagine it was lots of regret.
Lots of regret, and then just so much. Once you realize that you have taken the Son of the Most High. Now, do you think there's any repentance for this? Do you think he's hellbound?
I don't know.
I don't know. There's only one unforgivable sin, so
Even taking the Son of the Most High and doing this?
I mean, he betrayed him, but he didn't. He wasn't the one who killed him. So
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he gets second chance. I don't know.
All right, what do you guys in the chat think? You think Judas is damned? Is it over for this guy, or is...
I mean, Yahushua chose him for a reason. He's obviously had some kind of holiness to him.
I don't know about holiness. He obviously had a project, something to do, no doubt. So I don't know about the holiness.
He was one of the 12.
Well, he was, but he was also the accounting guy. He was the accounting guy that was always...
Old tax collector.
Yeah, the old tax collector.
So was Matthews.
Well, Matt,
He was the one who handled the group's funds.
yeah, the group's funds. This is the dude that was when Messiah was getting oils and perfumes and stuff put on him. He's like, "What in the world's going on? That should be in my money book, fellas." Okay.
He's got some traditions from his old life.
Yeah. All right. Let's continue on. And
Seven.
Okay. So they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field for the burial of strangers. All right. There it is. Potter's field, from my old memory. Therefore, that field has been called the field of blood until today. And I don't know if that exists. I don't know if today it works. If that's still the field of blood. Then what was filled was spoken by Yirmiyahu, the Nabai, saying, and they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him who was pierced, on whom they of the children of Yisrael put a price, and they gave them for the potter's field, as Yahuwah had ordered me. And Yahushua stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, you are the sovereign of the Yahudim? And Yahushua said to him, you say it. And as he was accused by the chief Kohen and the elders, he answered not. Then Pilatus said to him, do you hear how much they witness against you? And he did not answer him, not one word, so that the governor wondered much. Yeah, this really, I'm not going to, I've only heard one thing like this. It literally came from a guy on death row that sat in jail for 6 years and never said a word. And his entire strategy was to get thrown into death row instead of just getting life in prison. And so this is something when people, having the story of Messiah, where Messiah is innocent, he is the Torah made flesh, he's everything that we should aspire to be, and he has all of these people against him. And I've often talked about this, that Messiah's walk was not an easy walk. It was not a walk of everybody embracing him and everybody loving him. You can tell from all the various stories that there was always affliction, there was always issues, and then all the way down to the bitter end, you had the people that are supposed to be his people. These are supposed to be his tribe members. And his tribe members are handing him over to the Romans. They didn't even have the gall of themselves to deal with this, which is why they handed it over to the Romans. And now we have our Messiah in the hands of the Gentiles getting ready to get owned. And it's such a hard story. 15. And at the festival, the governor used to release to the crowd one prisoner whom they wanted. And they had a well-known prisoner called Barabbas. So when they were assembled, Pilatus said to them, whom do you want that I release to you, Barabbas or Yahushua, who is called Mashiach? For he knew that because of envy, they had delivered him up. And as he was sitting on the judgment seat, his wife sent to him, saying, have not to do with that righteous man, for I have suffered much today in a dream because of him. Okay, so you have the helpmate of a judge, a guy who has the life of Messiah in his hands. And do you think this is weird? Like the woman would even be involved in this, right?
Yeah, I'm sure she knows, she sees a lot what goes on, but her coming to him when he's like doing his judging thing, it says leave this dude alone, like somebody she doesn't even know.
He's probably freaking out now. Like, why does she know about this guy?
Why is my wife involved in this rule?
Like, how does she know about this guy? She's Roman.
Yeah. So, what do you think he thought about that? I mean, do you think he? Did he take some time to discuss this? Do you think he like?
Well, I mean, he's already trying not to deal with Messiah. He's already trying not to put him to death.
And then all of a sudden, his wife says, "Don't put him to death."
And that might be why he says he washes his hands and leaves them back to them. He's like, "This is you guys deal with it. I don't want to deal with this."
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he with it, right?
And didn't he end up tossing himself down the mountain anyways?
Yeah, he did. He killed himself at the end. Okay, spoiler alert.
Yeah, but that doesn't say in this.
No, it doesn't say this.
Later.
Okay, 20. But the chief Kohen and elders persuaded the crowds that they should ask for Barabbas and to destroy Yahushua. It's crazy. See those words, destroy Yahushua. And the governor answering said to them, which of the two do you want that I release to you? They said, Barabbas. Pilatus said to them, What then shall I do with Yahushua, who is called Mashiach? They all said to him, let him be impaled. Again, imagine you as Messiah sitting there and everybody's against you. All your people, everybody. You have a small group of people that they have no weight, right? You have the 12 disciples, you have your 11 disciples, you have his mother, you have the other Mary, you have all these little itty bitty tiny people, and they can't do anything. There's nothing they can do except watch this action be done and watch the person that they love with all their heart, with all their mind and soul, to be killed, right? They're killing off our Messiah. And the governor said, indeed, what evil has he done? And they were crying out all the more, saying, let him be impaled. And when Pilatus saw that he was getting nowhere, but rather an uproar was starting, he took water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this righteous one. You shall see to it. Okay, do you think he's innocent? Did he walk away innocent with this?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he's
why doesn't he want to go against these people that he's obviously against?
Rioting.
Yeah, rioting. And so the Romans are in control of all the Yahudim at this point. And so as history has told us, the Romans had complete control. And so what he was trying to do was he was a governor of this little tiny area. And when you have all of these people riot, all of a sudden you're going to have to call Rome to get more soldiers, and there's bad things that could happen, right? You could very well be dead. Pilate could very well be dead if these guys started a riot and there weren't enough soldiers to do it. So by the hands of the Yahudim, they saw to it. 25. And all the people answering said, his blood be on us and on our children.
terrible thing to say.
Wow, that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Then he released Barabbas to them, but having Yahushua whipped, he delivered him over to be impaled. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yahushua into the court and gathered the entire squad around him. Now, guys, when they whipped Yahushua, this verse does not hold any kind of real importance to what really happened. He wasn't just whipped. He was literally bloodletted to the point of almost death, which is why when he was crucified on the cross, he died far earlier than those who were hanging elsewhere. The other ones were not whipped to the point of death. And when you are in this shape, you don't last long, which this is just a mess. This whole story is a mess. 27. Then the soldiers of the governors took Yahushua into the court and gathered the entire squad around him. And having stripped him, they put a scarlet robe on him. And plaiting a crown of thorns, they put it on his head and a reed in his right hand. And they kneeled before him and mocked him, saying, Greetings, sovereign of the Yahudim. And spitting on him, they took the reed and struck him on the head. And when they had mocked him, they took the robe off him, then put his own garments on him and led him away to be impaled. Guys, this doesn't give any kind of understanding. After he would have been a bloody mess. There's no way to say it. He would have been a bloody mess. He would have been in more pain than any one of us are ever going to know. When you get whipped with the cat of nine tails, and it is a whip that reaches into your flesh and it hooks. And when they rip that out, you're talking a huge chunk of flesh. So the back and the body of our Messiah has been beaten. It has been owned to the point of this was a torturous way to beginning of his death. And as they were going out, they found a man of Kurim, Shimon by name. They compelled him to bear his stake. And when they came to a place called Golgotha, that is to say, place of a skull, and they gave him wine mixed with bile to drink, and after tasting, he would not drink it. Now, this drink that they were trying to get them to drink is something that it's supposed to be a painkiller. And this is one of the things that it's not good to drink. It's terrible tasting stuff, but it is something that was supposed to ease the pain just a little bit. And Messiah spit that out. He would not drink it, which is something to understand, that Messiah wasn't there for comfort. He was not there other than for his Father's will. And his Father's will was what was happening right here. 35. And having impaled him, they divided his garments, casting lots, that it might be filled what was spoken by the Navi. They divided my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots. And sitting down, they guarded him there. And they put up over his head the written charge against him. This is Yahushua, the sovereign of the Yahudim. Then 2 robbers were impaled with him, one on the right and another on the left. And those passing by were blaspheming him, shaking their heads. And they put up over his head the written charge against him. This is Yahushua, the sovereign of the Yehudim. And likewise the chief Kohanim with the scribes and elders mocking said, he saved others, he is unable to save himself. If he is the sovereign of Israel, let him come down from the stake, and we shall believe him. Imagine this, guys, right? Imagine this, right? Messiah is sitting here, and these guys, all the way to the bitter end, these people are mocking him, cursing him, making him feel even worse than what he obviously feels. Like this was a physical, a spiritual, a complete torturous death that our Messiah has had. And it was at the hands of the men. It was at the hands of the people. And likewise, the chief Kohanim with the scribes and elders mocking said, I actually did that, 43. He trusted in Elohim. Let him rescue him. Now if he desires him, for he said, I am the son, the ben of Elohim. And also the robbers who were impaled with him reviled him the same. And from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour. All right, what is the 6th hour to the 9th? What is that?
I think the 6th hour is 12.
Is it 12 to 3? Is that what it was? I think it was. If so, if I'm wrong on that, guys, let us know. Yeah, so this is basically you had a like an eclipse, right? You had some sort of an eclipse. You had some sort of a supernatural event, and during an eclipse, I don't think eclipses actually go for that many hours. So all of a sudden, it went from daylight to darkness on the land, and that's when people were really figuring this out, I think. And about the 9th hour, Yahushua cried out with a loud voice, saying, Ele, Ele, lama sheveketane. That is, my El, why have you forsaken me? Now, these are one of these verses that, if you believe in the Trinity, if you believe that the Father is the Son and the Son's the Father, then we have a major problem, because he's sitting here talking to himself and he's asking himself why he's forsaken him. And also we have him in the Garden of Gethsemane, where he prays to somebody else. He asks his Father to take this cup if he's willing to take this cup. Continuing on. Some of those standing here, having heard, said, this one calls Eliyahu. And immediately one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave it to him to drink. But the rest said, leave it. Let us see if Eliyahu comes to save him. And Yahushua cried out again with a loud voice and gave up his spirit. And see, the veil of the Mishkan was torn in two from the top to bottom, and the earth was shaken, and the rocks were split, and the tombs were opened, and many bodies of the Kodeshim who had fallen asleep were raised. And coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, they went into the Kodesh city and appeared to many. Okay, a lot of stuff we should talk about right here. Number one, probably the biggest thing of this entire thing is what? What am I going to say, fellas?
I don't know.
Impress me.
The
Anyone?
veil of the Mishkan.
You got it. You impressed me. Like, yes, the veil of the Mishkan was torn. Why did the veil of the Mishkan tear?
Well, that was basically what they did the sacrifices behind. And so since it tore, there was no need for sacrifices.
Yeah. Basically what happened is the priesthood left these guys that were sitting here, and it went to our Messiah. It went to our Melchizedek priest, who is now our priest for all time, the real priest. The Hebrews 8 priest, the priest that does not need any kind of, actually Hebrews 7, the priest that does not need any kind of sacrifice to atone for his sin, because he is perfect. He is the truth. He is righteousness. And so we have the veil in the Mishkan. We have the ceremony. We have the ways that the people were only able to get to the creator of the universe. And now that has changed. That has shifted. We have a new priest. We have a real priest, and we are happy. Now, let's talk about this. We have a whole bunch of dead people, and they just popped out of the dead. And what do you think that happened? What do you think that looked like? Do you think they fell over dead after this again, or do you think they lived on? Let's talk.
I don't know. That's a weird one, because this is the only time mentioned in the Gospels in Matthew. So like they came back to life. They walked around for who knows how. Maybe it was the full 3 days Joshua was in the ground, and then after Joshua came back, maybe that was it.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think these things lived? Do you think the people like stayed alive?
I don't think they would have.
These guys were walking, or these guys were coming out of the tombs, and I mean they went around. They appeared to many.
Maybe it's like Lazarus. Maybe they got their lives back.
lives back, maybe.
Maybe.
Well,
You
how
know-
far back are we going for the dead?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, Grant says maybe they ascended. Maybe they did. That's a good point. They went back to sleep till Judgment Day. Brian says. Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, so very good stuff, guys. I don't know what happened to these guys. Very interesting though. You're gonna look at life different after this. And 54. And when the captain of those with him who were guarding Yahushua saw the earthquake and all that took place, they feared exceedingly, saying, "Truly, this was the bin of Elohim." And many women who followed Yahushua from Galilee, attending him, were there, watching from a distance. Among them were Miriam from Magdala, and Miriam, the mother of Yaakov and Joseph, and the mother of Zabadi's sons. And when evening came, there came a rich man from Ramathaim named Yosef, who himself had also become a Talmud of Yahushua, a disciple of Yahushua. He went to Pilatus and asked for the body of Yahushua. Then Pilatus commanded the body to be given. And having taken the body, Joseph wrapped it in clean linen and laid it in his tomb, which he had hewn out of the rock. And he rolled a large stone against the door of the tomb and went away. And Miriam from Magdala was there, and the other Miriam sitting opposite the tomb. On the next day, which was after the preparation, the chief Kohen and Pharisees gathered together to Pilatus, saying, "Master, we remember while he was still alive how that deceiver said, 'After 3 days I am raised.'" Now these guys figure this out, right? Now they're like thinking about this. They're like, uh-oh. So they say, "Command then that the tomb be safeguarded until the 3rd day, lest his disciples, his Talmudian, come by night and steal him away, and should say to the people, 'He was raised from the dead.' And the last deception shall be worse than the first." Pilatus said to them, You have a watch. Go, safeguard it as you know how." And they went and safeguarded the tomb, sealing the stone after posting sentries. All right, what do we make of this, fellas?
Well, they're pretty scared because they're like, "This dude, something's gonna happen here, and then they're gonna have an uprising. If his body disappears, they're gonna have an uprising."
And something that we should understand is that he died on the preparation day, right? He died before, and so we have the Christians that will say, "Oh, we now changed our Sabbath day to Sunday because Messiah rose on the first day," or something of the sort. And they have no idea what that even means. And you ask them to tell you in scriptures, and it makes them very, very angry. But there was no day that our Sabbath day was ever changed. There was no day our appointed times have ever changed. And as people of our Creator, we are called to be holy. We're called to be Kodesh. We're called to be in unity under the Torah, under the laws of our Creator. And so, guys, with that, I think we're going to call it. Let me look in chat real quick. See if there's anything else. Yeah, it's fun to think about the grand. It tells what happens. This is Jerry and Dolly. It tells what happens when our ruach separates from our flesh. It is for both the wicked and the righteous. Yeah. That's in 2nd Ezra. Okay. Yeah, and Brian, may grace and peace. Yep. Much love to everybody. Yep. Ezra confirms Yahushua's parable. Yeah. So that's what the Apocrypha confirms it all, guys. And that's the amazing thing about the Apocrypha is there's no things left and right. I know a lot of people get stuck up on the book of Jubilees. I know a lot of people get stuck up on the book of Jasher. Guys, this is why we have to be foundationally structured in the Torah. When we know the Torah from the beginning of the book to the end of the book, and we know the laws, statutes, and commandments, we've written it on our hearts, minds, and souls. Guys, we can read things, and if it has a detail that is different, it's not a salvation detail. It's possibly a scribe detail. It's somebody else got something wrong. It is what it is. But none of the Apocrypha ever say, you know what, the laws of our Creator are gone. The Apocrypha never says anything like the books of Paul. And when Paul says things, you got to be very astute to understand what Paul says, because if you are not foundationally based in Torah, then you could very well walk away with Paul being your God, thinking that, oh, this is the new way forward that everybody tells me as they come knocking on my door. So with that, everybody, we hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you all very, very much. Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah may his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuwah lift his face upon you and give you peace. Thus they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I myself shall barak them.
All right, guys, let's rend the heavens. Much love, guys.
Let the earth be moved. Let the nations may tremble at your presence. Let your fire burn. Let the waters boil. Let your name be known to this generation. And come down. That you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Will you restrain yourself any longer? Don't hide your face in your anger. When Jerusalem is oppressed by the nations, the place of your throne, a desolation, come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. There will be thunder in Jerusalem. Like a lion you will roar. Indeed you're angry for the sake of Zion. And all the nations they will know when you come down. When you come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, come down. Indeed we have sinned, and we need saving. All our righteousness is erased. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, that you prepare for those who wait. When you come down.
All right, beautiful family. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May the Torah forever be a part of your life. May Messiah Yahushua forever be our Savior and salvation. And may you guys all have a wonderful week, and we will see you again soon. Much love. Shalom.
Shalom.